What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here tonight, and tonight we're going to talk about permanent lighting. It is that time of the year. It is that season. I know some of you love it, some of you hate it, some of you have to do it because you know that if you don't do it, you may lose out on other stuff. So that is what we're going to hit on tonight. I'll hit on kind of the tools that we need, and I will hit on some of the different components that we use and how you can use it in your business. And we might hit on some sales tactics. And so I want to just hit on a little bit of everything, of some things that you can do for your permanent lighting business if you want to do permanent lighting. There's lots of different things out there that some people love it, some people hate it, some people, do it because they know that they're going to get sold anyway. And so that is why it is what we're going to hit on. So with that, this week's book of the week is my old trusty Think and Grow Rich. Because with permanent lighting, if you don't believe you can sell it at $30 a foot, by God, you won't sell it at $30 a foot. I promise you, I'll tell you, you won't sell it at $40 a foot. You won't even get probably $25 a foot. And so if you can't change your mindset, you are a technician mindset, it's going to be really hard to be profitable. And if what it means to be profitable in a business is to means you will succeed and not fail. And so that's why I love this book. I think you should read this book 2 times a year, 1 to 2 times a year. I promise you, every time you read it, you'll be like, a light bulb moment will come on, and it is definitely a book that I highly recommend you to read. So, what's going on in this side of the country today? Well, it's still got snow out. I was telling the wife earlier today, I was like, I don't ever remember seeing snow on the ground for 3 weeks. We are at 3 weeks right now of the snowstorm we got 3 weeks ago. Today it was -4, -5. It was cold. And so I don't remember snow being on the ground this long. Usually it gets up into the 30s and 40s and melts it off pretty quick. But we still have snow. We still have cold. And so this is the coldest winter that I can remember in a long, long time. I wasn't born in the 70s, so I don't know what the 77, 78. I wasn't born back then. That was a few years before my time. And so it is just one of those things. I actually just did have a birthday this past week on the 20th. On the inauguration day, MLK Day, we had it all, Jason Day. It was all kinds of awesomeness. So, that is one of those things that as you get older, you realize that time just flies by. It's like, where's the last 45 years gone? It just moves on so fast. Your kids grow up. And so that is why I preach so hard on, it isn't just about money, but time freedom. Do you have time freedom? We're offering a service for our customers so that they have time freedom. But do you have time freedom at the end of the day? Or do you have the time freedom to be able to go do the things with your kids and do the stuff? And so that is definitely something that, I want you to think about, and I want you to start, putting that toward the top because, by the time your kids turn 18, they will be 90% of the time that you get to spend with them is up to 18. After that, you only spend 10% after that. So with that, we got Mr. Sean here from Canada. Hey folks, hope that everyone is doing great. Polar Vortex of 1979. And happy birthday. So one of the things that with the permanent lights, again, I know people are like, well, that's not permanent. And people that will say different stuff. And so, it is one of the things that as we keep coming, the one thing I'm not a Govee fan. I'm not a big fan of it at all. It's, I've got a set. I haven't actually put it up or actually tested it yet. But Govee has done very good at the marketing side. as cheap as the product is, there's a lot of people that are putting it up on a lot of houses. And it's one of the products that they've helped bring the side of permanent lights. And so the thing about whatever you want to call it, permanent lights, permanent Christmas lights, whatever you want to call it, I'd like to hear what you all, if you've done it or if you're thinking about it, what do you call it? I call it permanent Christmas lights because most people that have called and that I've listened to the phone calls say, you do permanent Christmas lights. So guess what? My customers are calling it permanent Christmas lights. I also look at the analytics in Google and see what people are more searching for, and more people search for permanent Christmas lights than anything else. So that's why I call it permanent Christmas lights. Now, the great thing about these lights is they're not just Christmas lights. Like this house here, she loves them because they're security lights, right? It lights it up, it keeps boogeyman away. And so that's why this customer loves them so much, is because you can set them to where they are security lighting, more of an architectural lighting, so that way you can see the brick, the different things, the different features. And so the security is another feature that we can sell. You know, a lot of times, reason why people can't get what I suggest you to do them at is because you're going after the product. You're like, look at these lights. They look so amazing. And, you know, you're selling the bulb and you're selling that they're UL rated and you're selling the features. But in the end, you're not selling the benefits. And this is the same thing with Christmas lights. With Christmas lights, you're not selling the benefits, because if you sell this right, is this a want or is this a need, right? A lot of you are probably going to say, that's a want. Well, guess what? That's why you're not going to get nothing out of them. That's why you're going to be at the $20 a foot and $25 a foot, because you're selling these as a want versus selling them as a need. Do you need security lighting? Are you scared of the dark? Well, I've got the solution for you, right? Not just you need these, you want these for Christmas, right? We're giving them a lot more benefits than just the lights for Christmas. And so that's some things that you have to change and shift your mindset of how you sell this stuff. It ain't no different than Ryan Lee, my buddy Ryan Lee. If you listen to Ryan Lee at all with landscape lighting, he's selling the same thing. We're selling security. We're selling a sense of safety. And that is huge at the end of the day. That is so huge at the end of the day. And so that is definitely something that you have to think about when you're selling this stuff. And when you're selling this stuff and you're selling it as just Christmas lights or holiday lighting or whatever you want to call it, then you're selling it as a want and not a need, right? And yes, I want it, but if I want it and I need it, now my tier goes up, right? My value, I can value stack it even more than here's your Christmas lights, here's all your value is. But if I say, hey, you know what? I can give you architectural lighting, which then gives you security lighting, which gives you more safety, sense of security. I can turn on just the corners. I can turn on these other things. And this is how we can sell this, just like I said, Ryan Lee, my buddy Ryan Lee, that sells permanent or sells, he's always pushing about higher value and the value stacking and the security and selling it as a need, because he's always asking that question, are landscape lighting a want or a need? And he's able to prove it as a need. And he's able to get guys to charge the most because he's charging it as a need and not a want. And when you sell something at a need, it will go up a lot more. And so I just want you to start thinking differently when we're thinking about permanent lights, Christmas lights, whatever you want to call them. And so that is what I want you to start thinking about for these lights here. So what are they? Well, they come in 1 foot sections. They have a male and a female. These are Invisilights. You can unplug them, you can plug them in. They come in here. They're UL rated 68, or IP68 is UL rating. So that is the rating. They're 24 volt, which means they're brighter than 12 volts. Some of your other systems are only 12 volt. These are a lot brighter. These are brighter than some of the competitors. I actually got one of the competitors that get used or talked a lot about on my house too, and it will only shine down about half my house, where these will shine all the way down to the ground. Gives it way brighter look, definitely brighter than what some of the competitors are. And so that's why I like these. Again, I'm not just selling them because I want to sell them. I'm selling them because I also know what other people, I have tested other products. This isn't my first rodeo of just saying this is what I want you to buy, because I have tested other ones. In fact, one of the other main ones don't work. They're 2 years old and they don't work. I don't care what happened. I've got 2-year-old lights on my house and zero. I can't even get them on. If I plug them in and I turn my app on, it does this stupid stuff and tells me that it don't work. Here's the thing. If I went out and sold 25, 100 customers this product, in 2 years, this product doesn't work, that's a scam. 100% scam. That's a scam of the person selling it and a scam of not getting it fixed and saying, here's controllers to fix this problem. That means you didn't do your research before you put it out there, and that's called a scam. And so I'm telling you these lights will work. I know Dustin has been using these for years. this is his 3rd, 4th year using these. And so it's not like it's just going to go away. So these are IP68, 24 volt DC. They pull 1.44 watts. They don't pull they do pull a little bit, but they're not going to hurt your electric bill. So that is something about these lights. Another thing is the box, which we'll talk about the box coming up here later, but each line of these can run 100 bulbs. So we can put 100 bulbs on one line, and that's how we can do it. Now, the box has 4 lines, so we can run 400 lights out of one box. So one box. So I understand this is where it gets confusing, right? Because a lot of you are brought up on Christmas lights, and you're like, you just keep putting them as long as you want to put them, right? You don't have to thinking about it. We always hear about power injection, and we worry about power injection. We hear these other terms. And so that's why I wanted to just hit on it a little bit, right? I want to talk more. I'll have more videos coming out about this stuff. I'll have my website, christmaslights.io/P. It takes you to the permanent light page. I'm breaking it down there. I'll have videos on there, so that way you can understand how this works and how you're able to buy the lights, install the lights, and make money. Because that's what I want you to do is I want you to make money. I want you to go out and sell lights. I want you to go out and make money. So you can, if you are just a Christmas light business, you can be a Christmas light business all year long. You know, like Coach here says, he does very well selling these lights. And so it is definitely something that you got to think about and you got to do. And it's just a matter of going out there and doing it. And I'm going to give you a couple different ways to do it. And I'll show you how some different ways that you can get selling lights for this. So these here, they come in 1 foot sections. So each one's a foot, and it has a track here that the track goes into. If I can get the track here without killing myself here. So those are the lights. This is the track. They pop into the track. They fit nice and snug into the track. And you can see on the back of the track how they fit in. They just pop right in. They're kind of a pain in the butt to get back out. And I didn't have another piece without the bulb in there. But they just pop in and out. And so that's how they look into the light. There's different tracks. This is called a hat channel. If you can see there, it kind of looks like a hat. So it looks like a hat. So this is called hat channel. And so this channel will slide up underneath the soffit. So you got this soffit right here that goes down along here, and it slides up into the soffit, and then you just screw on the back side. So if this is the soffit, you slide it up underneath the soffit, and you just screw it right up into the back side. You put 3 screws in it, it holds it, and it's done. So this is the channel that most of your stuff will be used, and so that is the channel that you have there. You also have another channel, and this one here don't have the holes drilled in, but it would normally, and this is called an A channel. I don't know if you can see why it's called an A channel, but you'll see why it's called an A channel. Can you tell why it is called an A channel? It is because it looks like an A, right? And so this can be used for commercial, and you can use this two different ways. If you got the lip that comes over, you can do it here and shine down. I'm not real big fan of that, but you can do that, or you can shine them out. And so that's another way that you are able to do that. And then the last one here is called a, can anybody guess what this is called? Channel? A U channel. And this one here is when you have houses, especially your higher end houses, they have like a 2x6 or a 2x10 that's hanging down. And so this can just slide right up in there, screw it on there, and then you can go. And so, yes, I have used that house on a job that they got $55 a foot. $55 a foot. The first house he ever sold was $55 a foot in Dayton, Ohio. So don't tell me Dayton, Ohio is probably one of the lowest places out there. Like, it's not, there is not a lot of rich people in Dayton, Ohio. And so it is definitely something out there that you have to believe in, and you got to go out there and sell it. And that's how you're able to do it. So if you all have any questions in here, definitely put your comments in here. I love to hear it. So I started conversion with permanent lights and transition to year-round lights to set the expectation they don't last forever. Yep. So that's one of the things. So let's talk about the last thing that you really need is your box. This isn't the box that you get. This is the demo box, so it's small. I can plug the lights in, which I may do it here shortly, and then I'll show you kind of the lights and how they work. But this is the control box. And then the only other part, which would be part of the control box, which I don't have one right now, is your power supplies. So your power supplies are what power these lights. And so you can see here, this is your power supply. I move my big fat head out of the power supply here. Move it all the way over here. And so you can see here, this is the power supply right here. And maybe, I didn't know why that did that, but you can see the power supply right here. No, you can't see the power supply. What the heck is going on, Jason? All right, let's escape that then. We'll go back to here then. We'll make it bigger this way. We'll make it bigger one way or another so you can see it. So these are your power supplies right here. They come in 350 watt or 600 watt. You can do an external, and this is where if you got 200 feet, you can do 350 watt. If you got 400 feet, it's the 600 watt. And so these are the power supplies that are put into the boxes. That way it can control the power for it there. So that is definitely something that you can do. The one thing that I really like about this here is it is aluminum channel, and we can match the color of the gutter, and so there's not an off. There was one of the other brands that I used had it's not metal, and so as the time went, the color's different than the house now, where it's kind of faded, and so that's why I like the metal. The metal works a lot better for you at that. So what are some tools that you need to be able to do this easily and safely and all those other good things? Well, one of the tools is right here. This is one of the tools that you use, and it's a big high dollar tool, and it's a square. And this is one of those tools that you look about half retarded if you don't use these all the time, and I still do, because you're like, does it go this way? Which way do I got to go with it? And so it is a tool that is used to do it. The one thing I will say that's hard about Invisalite is working with the metal. Metal is a pain in the butt to work with. It is probably one of the hardest things to learn of this. The control box is easy. The lights are easy. Putting the lights in are easy. Putting the junctions in, or the jumper wires, are easy because it's an all plug and play system. We're not cutting and splicing no wires. So this way it helps us with places out west, so we ain't got to worry about cutting and splicing wires. So it's a plug and play system, 100% plug and play system. And so the hardest part of this is the side of the metal. So some people will teach you to use these things, and if you're not good at these, you will suck at it. Trying to cut metal with the cutters. And so what I found that works really good is I bought me one of these little DeWalt cutters here, and this thing works great to be able to cut that metal very well, very easy. Gets a nice clean cut, and so that is something that I like very well for this. And so that is definitely something that you need. And then the other tool you need is I like the hammer drill or the impact wrenches here, like this one here. So that way, and the trick to these is making sure that you get a good bit. And if you got the bit and the magnet's too far down in there and the screw falls out, that sucks. Because the one thing about this is you're not getting on the roof a lot. You're doing a lot of laddering. Most of the jobs you're doing is ladder because you're getting up, you got to get up underneath the soffit and do the ladder. And so that's some issues that you deal with that. With you, Colin, customers wanting the lights, want face down lights to brighten the home. Front porch is away from home. Would you bring lights back to home under porch run or run that strip facing out? No, we run them all down. This is all running down because that way it gives us the security lights like I was saying in the beginning. So we point all our lights down. That way it gets a good security lighting. It makes the architectural lighting. It lights up the home, and it gives you the good view of what you're wanting for. So that's another thing that you want to do. And then the only other tool that is a good tool to use also would be a chop saw. So a chop saw is this here. Chop saws work really good to help with getting your 45s in a good 45 and makes it a lot easier for you. So that's the other thing that I would highly recommend is the chop saw. All my hat channels and stuff are back here. So those are my tools or a miter saw. I know I called it a chop saw, but a miter saw, same thing. So that is definitely something that you got to do. You can have great looking lights. It is one of those things that, it's a lot of fun to install. It's really cool. It's fun. It is a little bit of a challenge to know where to put the box at, how long your runs are, different things. So that is definitely something that you have to think about when you are doing these permanent lights. And so when you're doing these permanent lighting, you got to definitely think of how far is that run going to be? Is that run going to be too far? Is it not going to be far enough? And so it's one of those things that you need to make sure that you understand where those runs are. And so I got one more picture here I'll show you. So this picture here, you can see that here I've got several different runs here. And so with these runs, so we put the box inside the garage right here, and we pulled out a line here that ran this way, which was like 80 feet, 85 feet. We pulled one out here. It was only like 70 feet. And then we pulled one up here. And so all the lines were hidden. And so this one here was only like 15 feet. And so this way, everything came out. If we'd have put the box over here, then we would have had to run jump or power injection, because otherwise that run would have been more than 100 feet. So that's where you kind of got to know where to put your box at, know how to map. And one of the other tricks, one of the other things is know how much jumper wires you need. Because again, like I said, this is a plug and play system. So this isn't like Christmas lights where we're just cutting it and doing it. Because what I've heard and what I've seen is when they've had problems with these systems is when they're cutting and splicing, because the splicers don't always work. I had a splicer on my Jeep out there for the Ranger or the Jeep Wrangler out there that my daughter had a backup. I put a backup camera on her so she didn't hit nothing too hard. And so I used one of those stupid clamp ones, and I knew better. I know better. I mean, I've been a mechanic for years, and I was taught when I first learned that those are junk, and guess what? They're junk. And so that's why I don't like those little splicer deals. They work great in theory, but over time they ain't going to keep working. So that's why I don't like them, because they cut the wire sometimes, they get corrosion in there, they do a lot of things that will hurt you in the end. So that's my take on permanent lighting. I'm going to be doing more videos and more stuff on here for permanent lighting. If you want to check out the permanent lighting, you can go to christmaslights.io/p. Don't go there tonight, though. Go there next week. Julie's working on the website to make it look a lot better and cleaner, so that makes it a lot more understandable for you to understand and know what you're getting and how to do it. I am having an in-person training coming up with Mr. Chris. That ain't it, but so if you go to in-person training or christmaslights.io/IPT, then that way you will be able to check it out. And with Chris, here's the thing about this class, right? This class is not just about permanent lighting. So this class is about how you sell. One whole day is how you sell and different ways to sell. I talk a whole day on marketing. I talk how to do your Google My Business. I talk about how to use Facebook. I talk to you how to do LinkedIn to get commercial jobs. I talk to you how to do Google ads, how to do Facebook ads. I talk to you about all the different ways of how to grow a business. I talk to you how to use AI, because AI is definitely coming in and helping you out a bunch. And so I give you a whole day of about $50,000 that I paid for myself that I dump on you so that you can learn. Plus, Chris Johnson is going to be there, and Chris Johnson is a great sales guy. He has a very high average ticket for pressure washing. His average ticket for pressure washing is about $2,200, which is very high for pressure washing. There's probably not many people around that high. And so it is definitely something that he has learned and used that skill of selling. He does a lot of in-person sales. So if you are planning on doing in-person sales, whether you're doing pressure washing, Christmas lights, whatever it is, I promise you, you will learn a lot. He will talk to you about the DISC program. He's going to talk to you about love languages and go into it very deep, because that is what sales is about. It's not about selling a bunch of crap. It's not about selling the product. You can sell product all day long, and all you're going to do is sell product, and you're going to get $20 a foot, and you're going to say, Jason, you just don't understand. You can't get that in my area. There's just too much competition. I hear it over and over and over and over. And I look at people and I'll be like, really? I got someone right next door to you that's getting more than that. So don't tell me that bunch of crap, because you believe in that bunch of crap. And you know what? You are 100% right. You ain't never going to get it, because you don't know how to run a business. And I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but it's about running a business at the end of the day. It's not about doing stuff so cheap that you're going to go out of business. That is why most people go out of business so fast. That is why most people go out of business. That's why it's like 80% of people will be out of business in 5 years. So I don't want you to be out of business in 5 years. That's why like 50% of the people won't make it past year 1. So I want you to be successful. I want you to grow your business. I want you to have success, because that's what it's all about. I bought the round puck type outdoor lights and put them up on my eaves of the front of my house during Christmas. We're multicolored. They are now 50% white. Love them. Yep. So that's the other cool thing about these lights here is they are RGBW. So then that way they actually have the W in them. So that way you can get a bright white, and you can also get a warm white. And so a lot of them, you can't get the warm white if you don't have the W in it. The warm whites are harder to get. So that's why you got to have the white LED in it. So that means there's 4 LEDs, RGB, red, green, blue, and white is the thing about how you do that. So, what questions do you have? You got any questions about Christmas? Let's talk about takedowns a little bit. I was going to hit on takedowns earlier today. Some of you still have all your lights up because there's snow on the ground. Here in Cincinnati, most people I drive around, and a lot of the lights are still up because nobody's taking them down because they're all frozen in. For one, you usually tear up more stuff than in good. So that's why it's best to wait until it thaws out. And so some of you, like in Minnesota and different places, some of you don't get them down till February and March because it never freaking thaws out. I wouldn't even want to live there that cold. But you definitely want to make sure that you're taking them down, being careful. I've seen some stupid stuff on TikTok of people doing stuff, getting up on roofs that, got snow on them. I don't care if the one side doesn't have snow. It doesn't mean there's not ice up there that you're not seeing. And so if it's a little wet, and so just be careful. I've seen too many people get hurt this season. I've seen too many people fall off the roof. I've seen too many people die this year of falling off of the roof. And so don't do stupid stuff. There's no job to worry about doing stupid stuff of getting up there doing sketchy stuff. And so whether you're doing permanent lights, whether you're doing Christmas lights, whatever you're doing, don't do stupid stuff. You're doing a lot of laddering. You're doing laddering on concrete. Be careful. When that ladder slips out from underneath of you, it can hurt you and kill you. And so I just want to hit the safety side is I've seen way too many people fall off roofs this year. I know 2 people died this year because they fell off a roof or did something, something that they wasn't supposed to do. I know 2 personally, or I know 2 about 2 different stories. And so that is too many. And so it is definitely one of those things that you got to be careful up on these roofs. They are slick. Do not get up on there when they are got snow on them because you don't know where that ice is. You hit an ice spot on a roof, you're done. There ain't no catching yourself at that point. You are done, And so the other thing too is, storage wise, I know some people are always worrying about how they store them and different ways of storing them. I keep it simple. I like simple. I hate making things difficult. Simpler the better. I don't like hard things. I like keeping stuff simple. And the way I keep simple is like on this here, I'll show you what I do on this house here. Since I got the picture here, I know this isn't permanent lighting and this is not permanent lighting, but if this was Christmas lights, so I always start on the right-hand side. Why do I always start on the right-hand side? Because I use red zip ties. Well, what does red zip tie start with? R, right? So R right. So I'm going to put a zip tie right there, right? And so this whole bunch would be all one strand anyway. So that's one strand. Done. This one here, if you really want to tag it, I probably wouldn't tag this at all. I would leave the little jumper on it, and I know where it is at that point. I need one zip tie on the right, and I'm done with this house with 3 peaks. Don't have to do nothing else. One zip tie, keep it all together. And what I do is I go, and I know I ain't got Christmas lights here, but I'll take my bulb here. I take my bulb here like so, and I carry them out till I get to 6, 7 feet, however long my arm is, and I bring it up together, and I bring all the lights together, right? So all my lights will be right here. So, and then at the very end of it, I just take it, wrap it around here like so, put it down in my box, done. I ain't got to worry about putting all this other stuff. I'm going to literally leave every bit of this together. Why would I pull it apart? That's stupid. The only thing I need to pull apart is the top peak, right? The only thing I need to pull apart is this top peak up here. This is the only thing I need to pull apart. And I'm going to pull apart here because in that way, when I come back, I know that it's just going to run straight back and my power is going to be there. And it's going to take me 2 seconds to do this house to put it back up. Because when I get back here to the house, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start on the left-hand side and I'm going to start undoing these lights and work them all the way around here. And guess what? My red zip tie is going to be at the end here and I'm done. Done. I got 2 sets of lights out of this whole thing. Keep it simple. And here's the thing. If it's got 1 peak and 2 peaks, then guess what? Then do 1 zip tie for first floor and do 2 zip ties for the second one. Now, where this does get tricky, this is where it gets tricky, is when you start doing ridges. That's when it gets tricky of where it is. But even then, I could do 1 zip tie here. A lot of times when I do it, I run this whole line anyway. I could run this whole line with 1 line if you really want to get crazy with it. And then you're going to know what these are. If you use the ridge clips, you're going to know. But on this house, I wouldn't use ridge clips. I would just slide them up here because you can only see them from one side. Because ridge clips suck. They're hard. They're a pain in the butt. No matter which ones you get, they're a pain in the butt. And so that's why I just use my clips and don't use ridge clips. Because this house, you can't see it from the back side. So I don't need them on the back side. So that's what I would do. But hey, what do I know? I'm just helping you all make money. All right, nobody got questions? So I've been working out every week. Today I got up at 4:30 in the morning, to go work out with my daughter. She had school today. Well, she didn't end up not having school. So we had to get up at 4:30 to go to the gym at 5. Tomorrow I get to be there. I get to sleep in a whole extra hour and sleep in till 6 and go in at work go work out at 6. So, working out is like running a business. You got to be consistent. If you're not consistent at running a business, if you're not working on your business all the time, it's not going to grow. You might say, Jason, what do I do this time of the year? That's a great question. Work on your social media. Work on your Google My Business. Put in your pictures for Google My Business. Go ahead and schedule out posts for Google My Business. Go ahead and schedule out posts for Facebook. Go ahead and start working on LinkedIn. Learn how to use LinkedIn. Learn how to use LinkedIn better. Well, what do you need to do, right? These are all things that will help you grow your business. And so that's my goal for you, is helping you grow your business. I want you to be successful. I want you to grow your business. I don't want you to fail. I want you to grow your business so you can be successful. I want you to be able to charge $30 a foot for Christmas or permanent lights. I want you to be able to charge $40 a foot for permanent Christmas lights. Because if you know what you're doing, you think if you can do it, it's amazing at what you can do. And if you sit there and believe that you can't do it, you're 100% right. That's why in the very beginning, I showed you this book. Because if you don't think you can do it, nobody else is going to make it happen. Because you are the only one that you can make it happen. If you're worried about competition, there is no competition. Only competition you have is you. And you got to do better than what you did yesterday. And if that's what you need to worry about, if you sold lights yesterday at $30 a foot, how do I get 31 today? Or next week, how do I get 35? And how do I get my close rate from 14% or 20% to 30%? 20% to 21%, 21% to 21.5%. That should be your competition. That should be your drive. Learn how to sell better. Learn to sell not the product. Learn to sell that this is a need and not a want. And so I probably got people arguing with me now that, Jason, you just don't understand. That's not a need. That's a want. You're right. And you're going to sell it at $20 a foot. You're the ones telling me that you can't get that out of it. So quit selling the product and start selling the benefits of it, right? You're going to keep the benefits of it. You're going to keep the boogeyman away. That's way more expensive than a freaking bulb. People want to sell bulbs all day long and the metal and the crap, but that's not what you want to sell. You want to sell the benefits of it, right? The benefit is you're going to not get robbed. You're not going to, have someone come and try to steal and break into your house because we're lighting up your house. That's a huge need. And I already been talking about you, Ryan. It's like your ears are burning. Ryan preaches this all the time. This is a need, not a want. And it is so true. But you can sell it as a want all day long and get your $20 a foot. Or you can sell this as a need and get $40 a foot, $50 a foot, right? Because that's the difference of what you're doing. And you might say, Jason, you're ripping people off. Well, do you want to run a business or do you want to run a nonprofit? Or do you want to run a job? Because if you're selling this at $20 a foot, you're running a job. Because I will likely say is you're the technician and you are just have a really nice job is all you have. And you will never be a business because you can't afford to pay for marketing. You can't afford to pay someone to answer the phone. You can't afford to pay someone to put these lights up because that is what happens when you sell a light bulb versus selling the benefits. I am doing awesome. I just went on a rant, but I'm doing awesome. Help people see the light. Amen. Unless you hate people, it's your responsibility to convince them to move forward. So, again, this is why a lot of people don't grow their business, because they don't learn this stuff. They won't go to classes. They won't learn. They won't read books to learn how to do it. They won't do things to make that happen because they believe that you can't get that in my area. Jason, you just don't understand. You know how many times I hear that? And it drives me absolutely bonkers. Every time I get on here, usually why I'm raging is because I heard it yesterday, someone writing a comment on me that, Jason, you just don't understand. You can't get that in my area. You know, I want to help you guys grow. That's my goal, is how can I help you grow? And if it's helping you, I want to be your cheerleader to help you get over your poor mindset or your mindset of belief. Jason, thank you for taking time out of your day to encourage us. Salute. I really appreciate you, man. Everyone needs light. Not everyone can afford it, but they still need it. Absolutely, right? It's a need, not a want. It's a need. It's a necessity. You know, you can not light it up, or how much does it cost you, or how much anxiety do you have because you're so worried about looking outside and not being able to see stuff? That's a huge thing. You can't sleep at night. Sell that. And here's the thing. When you go to these sales consultation, whatever, shut up. Let them talk, because then you'll find their selling point. You know, I read a thing the other day that the person that talked 70% of the time only closed like half of what the person that only talked 40% of the time of the conversation, because they let them talk. And when people talk, guess what? They're going to tell you their problems. They're going to tell you why they're calling you. They're not calling you to buy lights. They're calling you because they're scared, or they want to light it up so people can't see. You know, that's what they want. And so guess what we sell on? We sell on that. We don't sell on, look at these lights. They're IP68. And yeah, there's a lot of great features on these things and blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody knows anything about that stuff. They don't care. The only people that care, they're about 12% of the people. They're type C personalities. And the type C personality already knows everything about this light before they ever call you, because they already did their research. And all they want to do is to make sure that you know half of what you're talking about, because they already know it all. And you might be like, Jason, you know, that's what I'm talking. That's why in my in-person trainings coming up, that's why you should come. It's in Myrtle Beach. Hopefully it'll be warm down there. That's my hope in February 7th or 8th and 9th. And so it's all about how you can sell better and not sell product. And that's with Chris Johnson and myself. And we'll have lunch together. We'll have dinner together. We'll have conversations at night. And usually them are the best conversations. And that is why you can't afford not to come to this. How much money are you going to lose out by not coming to training the February 8th and 9th? I bet you're going to lose out on a lot of money, because you don't know how to sell, or you might think you do, but a lot of you don't, because I see the numbers. I know I get people calling me all the time. Coaching calls. I hear them in the coaching calls. I hear them everywhere, right? And so that's why I'm just here to help you guys. I give a lot of value on these Wednesdays and Sunday nights. My goal is to give, I keep very little in. If you wanted to know how to run a business, you could go back and watch all my videos and do it. My in-person training and my online training, it just basically puts it all in do this, this, and this, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Amen. Let them talk. Then bam, I love Christmas lights and his Scottish accent. You know, this is a guy that I coached this year and absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it. Year 2, just Christmas lights, absolutely killed it. 100% killed it. And when I mean killed it, I know businesses. I've been in business for 10 years and didn't do what he has done this past year. But you know what he did? He come to one of my trainings. He actually paid me to come up there to him, and I helped him out. And guess what? He absolutely killed it. That's what I'm talking about. You get around like-minded people. He comes to my Monday night marketing every Monday night and gives value and takes value and goes and kills it. You know, that's what I'm just trying to help you guys grow. I understand it's scary. I understand that it's hard sometimes. I'm not saying that everybody's designed to be an entrepreneur. Some of you just have a fancy job is all you have. I get it. It's called the book E-Myth. If you haven't read the book E-Myth, I'd highly recommend you to read it because it talks about technicians, talks about manager mindset, and it talks about entrepreneur mindset. And so it is definitely a great book that you should read. Nobody got any questions tonight? You know, if you want to get smarter, you got to ask questions. And there is no dumb question. I promise you, there is no dumb question. Nobody got any questions? I'm waiting for you. Well, other than that, I think I had my rant and rave tonight. I just hope you guys success. I think 2025 is going to be an amazing year. I know I've seen some people already talking about 2025. I've got one person in my Facebook group, my Christmas light group, Facebook group. They do all permanent lighting, and they've said they've sold more jobs this year than they've been strong. They've been way stronger than this year than they've ever been. So that's good signs. I think that this year will be a great year. I think it's one that you got to make the money while it's getting, right? It's when the sun's shining, you got to go make money. And so I believe the permanent lights will take off this year. I don't know how long, to be honest, I don't know how long they're going to be around. Is this going to be a fad for 2 or 3 years, or is it going to be, forever? Do I think they'll take over Christmas lights? No, I don't think they'll take over Christmas lights because the permanent lighting and Christmas lights aren't the same, to be honest. There's people that will love the traditional Christmas lights. And so I know a lot of you won't sell Christmas or permanent lights because you're like, that's cutting into my money. And I understand that 100%. But I think there is a need and there is a place for them. I think that you can do a lot of good with them. I think that you can keep growing. Again, I love Christmas lights too. I'm not going to disagree. Who wouldn't love Christmas lights? Hey, you pay me $8 to $12 a foot every year. That sounds like a no freaking brainer, right? Recurring money of $8 to $12 a foot. Your lifetime value customer is $50,000 to $100,000. Sign me up for that bad boy, right? But some people just want to do the permanent lights, and that's fine. You can do the permanent lights the rest of the year, and then do the Christmas lights there, only in that other season. 2025 is going to be amazing, brother. Can't wait for Myrtle Beach. Let's go. Will we run out of people if we do? Will we run out of people if we do run permanent lights? No, we will not run out of people if we do permanent lights. Because, like I said, there's some people that are going to want it no matter what. What about people who show up with their own lights? Just like you don't do Christmas lights, you don't do permanent lights, because you don't do the Govee lights, because that's what they are. We don't do other people's lights. Do you want the warranty of my warranty and my workmanship and all of that? I'm not guaranteeing nothing. It's just like Christmas lights. I don't put up other people's Christmas lights. And I teach you not to put up other people's Christmas lights. And there's always those people like, Jason don't know what he's talking about. That's money. All these people are calling me wanting to put up my Christmas lights. And then they get there and they're like, they get to be this big box of crap. And they're like, what am I supposed to do with that? So no, I do not do other people's lights. That's not something I'm going to do. What kind of lights are those? They're Invisilights. Invisilights. You can go to christmaslights.io/P. It probably ain't going to take you there tonight because my assistant is actually working on the website as we speak. and so it will probably take you somewhere, but I don't know if it's going to take you to where you want to be at. So she's working on it. It should be done probably. I asked her if she was going to have it done by Friday, but I don't know if it'll be done by Friday or not. But it'll be done by next week. So it is definitely something that I think is a great thing. I think it is one that will be a great product. You can give it a lifetime warranty. Did you know if you give something a lifetime warranty, for most states, it's only like 7 years is considered a lifetime warranty? Because here's the thing. It's just like this iPhone, right? This iPhone, we pay $1,000, $1,500 for. And guess what? Every year when something new comes out, guess what? They want the new stuff. So if another product comes out, they're going to put that up there too. So that's something that people are like, well, it's not going to be permanent forever. Well, you buy a cell phone every 2, 3, 4 years. It's not permanent either, but you keep spending it, right? It's the same thing with these lights. 100% same thing with these lights. So, all right. Any other questions? Again, if you didn't know, I do these lives every Wednesday night for Christmas lights or marketing. It'll be either one of them. Christmas lights or marketing. If you text the word LIGHT, LITE, to 855-619-5483, I will send a text out right before I go live. So that way you know I go live. I also have my pressure washing channel. So some of you are on my pressure washing channel watching this. And I do that every Sunday night. So depending on what this channel is, if I do some marketing on Sunday night or I have a special guest on, I will probably, but I am live every Wednesday and Sunday night. So usually it's Sunday night is pressure washing. Christmas light is Wednesday night. And then if I do marketing on either one of those, I'll send it out to both channels. So that's kind of how I work it. I'm here every Wednesday and Sunday night answering your questions. If you got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer your questions and help you grow your business. Is there going to be an issue when we do pressure washing with the permanent lights? How do you cover damage or anything? So on these lights, they are IP68, which is like the highest rating you can get for UL for it. Where they sit in this track, they should be fine. There's been tests where these have been frozen in water for weeks and months, and they're turned on and off, and they're thawed out, and they're sitting in water, and they still work. So they've done a lot of testing on these. That's the thing about Dustin is Dustin tests everything before he sends anything out. He don't send nothing out that he hasn't put through the ringer. He puts them on. He's got lights at his shop that goes for miles of lights. They turn it on and off. They have timers turning them on and off. They got sprinklers on them. They get really hot there in the summertime. It gets really cold there in the wintertime. And so it's kind of a great thing of how he tests them before he sells a product. Because if the product fails, he ain't selling it. And so that's something that he does, and that's how he makes sure that that product is good. We haven't had no issues with the bleach. I was actually thinking about getting some 12% and just sticking a set of them in it and see how long it takes for it to corrode it if it does corrode it. The good thing about these lights is on the back there's silicone in there, so then that way it keeps the connections good in there too. So, but with that, I hope you all have a great week. And this weekend, it's supposed to finally warm up. We're actually going to do ice rescue for water rescue. If you didn't know, I'm the captain of water rescue. We're supposed to have ice rescue as long as the lake has thick enough ice on it. I think it will. So you might see some pictures if you follow me on Facebook of that also. So it is definitely something that it is there. The problem, what about Govee? The problem I'd have with Govee is, that might be an issue because one, if they don't put the screws in it and they only did the tape, two-sided tape, then you get that water up in there and coming back down. That could be an issue. And I think they're only IP67, so they're not as waterproof. So I wouldn't know about. I mean, so you do have a good point of how many people have installed Gobi on houses. That when you wash it, you may definitely want to take pictures of it and to make sure that if any of them are already falling down, that you start taking pictures of that and doing the pictures of it. So, but other than that, hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you all later.